Hey you guys, what's going on? This is Fabio Hart coming back with another YouTube video. In this video, I want to talk about the 3 mistakes that I made early on when I first started my commercial cleaning business, okay? And it's no certain order. I just kind of want to throw this out here because this is something that you guys will want to kind of pay attention to so you don't fall into the same trap or make the same mistakes that I made early on. Okay, number one, ego. You got to check your ego at the door, right? Because of the fact that I started a commercial cleaning business, when I started in the very beginning, I was just so excited. I was so happy the fact that I jumped out there, that I took the leap of faith, especially when I first got my first maybe 2 or 3 accounts. You couldn't tell me anything, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I feel like, I had everything in my beck and call. I just felt like very accomplished. The fact that I, finally had my business register, finally had a bank account, had my EIN number. I'm out hustling and bustling, trying to get new contracts. I felt accomplished. I had business cards, right? I was trying to make some type of some movement, right? I was trying to get some type of traction going on. And the fact that I was doing all of that every single day, right? I got up, I got my shirt and my tie on and my khakis. I'm feeling a part, I'm looking a part, I'm going in and meeting and dealing and willing with people that I've never ever met before. Sometimes if sometimes doing something to this caliber, right, like starting a business, sometimes you can have a very big ego in the very beginning. I had an ego before I even had money, right, before I even started making money with commercial cleaning. So one thing that you guys will want to check at the door is your ego, okay? Because having a big ego, I mean, it's nice. Every entrepreneur have an ego, but sometimes if you're not able to control your ego, it can get you in a lot of trouble, right? So you definitely want to control your ego, okay? Be a little bit more humble. Number two, thinking that my employees was going to be me, right? So the mistake that I made, I was expecting my employees to really hold the fort down. Once I started hiring employees, once again, I already had that ego. Now you follow that up with employees, right? And you really couldn't tell me anything, right? Because I'm the boss. I'm cutting the check, right? I'm making sure that other people's families is going to eat. And this is like kind of like how I was feeling, right? So that kind of attached to my ego. But also, I would train my employees and I wouldn't check up on them as regular as I should. So what happened, I started getting a lot of emails, a lot of text messages and phone calls from some of my clients because this was messed up, this was out of place, the employee didn't do this, the employee didn't do that. So the lesson to be learned here, guys, is in the very beginning, even though you're delegating your work loads out to your employees or your subcontractors or whoever you excuse me, you decide to have, you want to make sure you pay attention to them or at least follow up with them, right? Now it's a little different for me because I have more or less of a system, and I also have work delegated to people that do what I no longer really have to do. But even that being said, as the entrepreneur, as the person that govern everything, I still want to make sure my supervisors is doing what they're supposed to do, right? So it's like a trickle down effect, right? I want to make sure my supervisors is governing my employees. I want to make sure my I's is dotted, my T's is crossed. Okay, so I'm still work in progress. I'm still in the fields. I'm still checking on things, even though I'm in a situation where I can kind of pull back a little bit, okay? So again, guys, make sure that in the very beginning that you do check on your employees, right? You do keep an open communication line with them, right? I have one friend of mine, he has a commercial cleaning business, and his thing is he's not accepting phone calls after a certain time, right? Like he's not accepting text messages, he's not accepting phone calls. And this is from his employees. And I told him, I say, man, I think that you should change that, because if you got an employee out at 2 o'clock in the morning, right, and they're cleaning a facility and something happened and they don't necessarily know what to do, the fact that you have the communication line shut down where you don't want to be bothered at that point, you'll miss the whole deal. So you will rather your employee call and ask you for your help or ask you for some sense of direction at 2 a.m. opposed to wait till 8 o'clock in the morning when your contact person come in and now you have a disaster. So now you have a totally different call than you would have had at 2 o'clock a.m., right? So I don't know if he kind of fixed that or if he still kind of operate how he operate. But at the end of the day, you will want to pay attention to your accounts and your contracts, right? And you will also want to pay attention to your employees, right? Especially in the very on stages, when you first begin to delegate the work out, even after you train them, right? Whether you're the one to train or you have a supervisor that's training, you still want to check the workload. You still want to make sure everything on your checklist is checked off and everything is consistent, okay? Because when you forget to do this day and you forget to do that day, all of that stuff get to piling up, and then the client eventually see it and find out, and then the next thing you know, they want to either cancel service, they want to talk to you, they want to call a meeting, they're emailing you, they're text messaging you. I try to keep that at bay. I try to keep, I mean, you're never going to have a fully ran operation without any problems, right? You're going to have some type of problem, some type of situations going on, right? It's inevitable. It's going to happen. But you could try to minimize it to the best of your ability. So hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. Okay, and last mistake that I made was spending money that I didn't have. And basically what that mean was the money that was coming into the business in the very beginning, I took it as my business. If you guys seen my first $5,000 video, then you kind of understand kind of where I went wrong. But like for the longest, like even prior to making, $5,000 of monthly revenue, again, the money would come in and it would go out, right? And that's how you would get behind on taxes. That's how you get, behind on payroll. That's how you get behind on, buying chemicals and solutions and, equipment, if you're financing equipment or whatever the case was. So the money that was coming in the beginning, again, I was living off of it, but I was living above my means. And that's the thing that a lot of people do. I mean, when you're not used to making $5,000, $10,000 a month, it seemed like a lot of money. Like when it began to come in, the money, even though you're making $5,000 to $10,000 a month, it's not your money. Okay, it's not your money. Okay, not even as far as I'm concerned, not even a portion of it is really your money. It's really all of the business money. That's the way I look at it. All I was doing, all you should be doing, I should say, is be taking, maybe like for your rent or for, paying your bills and your expenses, but going out and splurging and getting movie tickets and basketball tickets and going out and doing big things for the kids and stuff like that. You got to kind of keep that stuff at bay, guys, because again, the revenue that come in is not your revenue, okay? And as your business grow, your profit margins will grow, so you'll be able to do more in the long run. But in the very, very beginning, $5,000, $10,000 is not a lot of money. You guys will see it when you start making it. All of the bills, when you look at all of the bills that you have, both business and personal, right? You're going to see like $10,000 isn't anything. Like it's more than what you had, right? But it's not a whole hell of a lot of money, okay? And you got to know that you got to pay taxes, you got employees, you got insurance, if you got to pay your insurance on a monthly basis, you have, personal expenses, right? You got to pay your car note, you got to, you have all of these different expenses. And when it comes right down to it, you have to know that, again, you only have this $10,000 to work with. And also you have to be able to make that stretch, because you don't want a $10,000 check to come in, or these 10,000, the accounts that equate to $10,000 to come in. You spend all of the revenue, so then you basically live in paycheck to paycheck until you can get more accounts and get a little bit more stability going. Okay, so again, the money that come in, guys, is not your money. I would kind of piece it wherever you need to pay a bill and pay a bill, but don't go out and splurge, okay? The money that come in, reinvest it back into your business, whether you're getting equipment, whether you're getting solutions and products, or whether you're getting business cards, whether you're getting uniforms and shirts and t-shirts and hats, whatever the case is, building your brand, right? Getting like a car wrap, getting your magnet for your car, right? Building your brand. I would suggest you do that, okay? Because again, in the long run, that's what's going to help your visibility. That's what's going to help you gain credibility, right? Whereas you wouldn't typically have, right? So again, guys, hopefully you take heed to this video. This is the video for today. And again, if you guys have any further questions, comments, or concerns, you can always leave it right here on the video, or you can email me at Hollywoodjanitorialserv@gmail.com. Hollywoodjanitorialserv@gmail.com. The email will be in the description. And also, guys, don't forget, February the 15th is the last day for the coaching, the paperwork, all of that stuff. So again, just as a reminder, so if you're definitely interested, feel free to email us. Just put coaching or paperwork, whatever the case is, in the subject line, and one of my assistants, Jasmine or Alexis, will get back with you. The only person that could ever stop you from starting up your own dreams and making it to the top is you. Take care.